Hello, Gavin here from CSV Getter. I'm going to show you how to generate an API from a CSV file using our app. There'll be a link to this page in the description. With this page, we'll be able to select a CSV file, upload it, and then have a URL which exports all the data from the CSV file. You can then use URL parameters to format the output of the URL to fit your certain use case. So the data I'm going to be uploading to the app today is some very simple data. It's just going to show the name, age, gender, and occupation of 5 different people. So with CSV Getter, I'll perform the upload. And what this is going to do is it's going to generate a URL. So in its base format, this URL is just going to download as CSV, the CSV that we've just uploaded. So you can use a URL like this for sharing data, having a static share link. But as you can see from the second example here, we're using a URL parameter. And what this parameter is doing is it's specifying a JSON output. If you've not used the app Postman, Postman is a great way of testing API endpoints. So with Postman, I'll show you. With a fresh GET request, you can see that we have those 5 rows of data now as neatly formatted JSON. But this is not the only URL parameter we can use. You can see that there's also examples of passing in custom SQL, and I'll tell you a bit more about that now. This is a great little website for encoding a string so it's safe for a URL. And what I've done here is I've written some custom SQL that I want to pass into my export URL. So when passing custom SQL into CSV Getter, all you have to do for the table name is just CSV Getter, and that will reference the table of the data that's coming out of the URL that you're using. Now, in our UI, if you close the examples screen, you can have a view of your data. We've parsed the CSV data, and you can even remove certain columns from the output if you need to. There's also the option to add authentication to the export if you want to make your API or your download URL more secure. What I'm going to do here is pass some custom SQL to my export, so that in the case of this download, we only want to download the names of people who are below the age of 30. So I've written the SQL here, select all from CSV Getter, where the age column, the values are less than 30. I'm going to encode that so it's safe for URL. This is not strictly necessary, but it's good practice. And as you can see, I'm going to add a second URL parameter here. Now Postman, you can do it in this nice tabular format here. You can also see that it's just using an ampersand to separate the parameters in the URL itself. With this SQL prompt, we now have a new endpoint. It's not going to return all the rows of data. It should only return 1 row of data, and that will be for Jane Smith because she is the only person on the list who's below the age of 30. And now our endpoint only returns 1 value. So please give the app a go and let me know what you think. As I say, there'll be a link in the description for this CSV Getter demo. I'll also put a link in for the URL encoder and decoder, and also a link to try Postman so that you can start playing around with the app and see what it feels like to build your own API from just a CSV file. Thank you very much.